Today's video is sponsored by Cook Unity.
Oh, is this thing on? Oh my god, I didn't even know we were recording today. Ugh, I just got back from Coachella. Hi, Ugly. It's me, Bus Spice, and welcome back to Hot or Rat. Today we'll be reviewing the premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10, aka the Tournament of All-Stars. Where in our very first episode, we got to meet our first batch of 6 queens who were challenged to write lyrics for and perform in an 80s heavy metal inspired rendition of RuPaul's new song, Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. And the runway category was Slits, and a T-word rhyming with slits that I can't say in the beginning of a YouTube video because of their demonetization policies. So we'll be going queen by queen to break all that down, plus covering some fun tea from NPB, who probably most definitely has been breaking her NDA. First up, because I know you can't get enough of it, let's talk tea. So leading up to this season, there had been a lot of rumor and gossip about how Lydia B Kollins replaced Maddy Morphosis on the cast of All-Stars 10. And this had been publicly unconfirmed, but I think largely accepted by the fan base as fact. But I guess the rumors are true, according to Nicole Paige Brooks, who had a little tea spill sesh on her Instagram live just the other day. I won't be including much of her actual live clip because it does use a copyrighted song in the background, but here are the cliff notes. First, Nicole clarifies that the cast was given a list of queens that would be appearing on the season. And she goes on to say that when they showed up, one of the queens on the list was missing, later clarifying when a fan directly asks her in the chat that it was indeed Maddy Morphosis.
See, what happened was they sent us a list of names and there was a girl on there and we had to get ready to read this girl or whatever. And then when we got to the hotel girl, she wasn't there. So they said this drag queen who is also a heterosexual, I can just say that, is not going to be here.
She then goes on to say that the producers showed her videos and content of Lydia from her season in order to introduce her to who this queen was. Confirming also here that Mistress Isabelle Brooks was indeed the only queen who knew of Lydia because of the season 17 roast. And interestingly, Nicole also confirms the producers told at least Nicole to pretend like they knew who Lydia was when they were interacting with her on the season. And while we did, as a fan base, kind of know most of this information already, I do think it's nice to at least have somebody confirm that the rumors were true. The other thing I thought was weird in what she said was that she said the producers instructed them to pretend like they had already seen season 17, which, as we know, would be impossible considering the filming timeline of season 17 to All-Stars 10, and also the fact that we know, as Lydia has stated, she only had 5 days to prepare for All-Stars 10 right after leaving season 17. Personally, I think it would have been a lot more fun to watch the All-Stars 10 queens gag at a completely unknown queen come into the competition. Like, seeing some of those live reactions for their entrances, I think would have been gold. But everything's fake and nothing matters, so let's move on to the premiere of All-Stars 10. So thankfully this episode starts off with some further clarification on how exactly this bracketed tournament format is going to play out, and we learn that there's going to be a point system involved where every week the top 2 queens of the week win 2 points, then the winner of a lip sync between the top 2 will win an additional point. And then at the end of each 3-episode bracketed segment, the top 3 queens from that group of 6 will move on to the semifinals, which I believe will start on episode 10. But the twist is, cause y'all wanted a twist, eh? That was the last time, I promise. The twist is that the bottoms, the 4 bottoms of each week, are going to be able to award 1 MVQ point, a most valuable queen point, to a queen of their choosing that is not themselves. Which of course opens the season up to some potential alliances, drama, maybe some backstabbing, who knows? However, what I'm still a little unclear on is if any of these points that are awarded in these mini brackets are going to follow the queens into the semifinals, and then I'm also still confused about how many episodes we're gonna have all 9 queens for. But I guess only time will tell. And now, in the order they appeared on the runway, first up, gotta catch 'em all, it's Aja. When her entrance look, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. At first, I thought it was actually doing a look paying homage to the female gremlin from the campy Gremlins horror movie. Cause like with the mask and the green, like do y'all see what I'm seeing? But then I spent a little more time looking at it and also looked at her Instagram and saw that she was actually paying homage to a Pokemon named Roserade, which she wrote on Instagram was her inspiration because Roserade is a Pokemon known for beauty, danger, and transformation. And says Roserade doesn't just blossom, she upgrades. And this is Aja's 3rd form. This is a really cool look from Aja in a fun way, I think, to come back to the competition. This look is hot. And on the runway, girl, I hope you brought every Pokeball you own because Miss Aja is giving us another Pokemon look, this time paying homage to cheeks. Where Aja here says she was going for a Pokemon meets Scaparelli fusion. And like personally, this is one of my favorite Pokemons because like Jinx is basically a drag queen. Like look at her, look at the doll. She is dolled up. And what I like about what Aja did here was that she kept her look focused on the fashion instead of like making it more Pokemon cosplay. But I think she got a little lost in the sauce of the execution of it all, especially with the purple skin. Because Miss Aja has like 50 different shades of purple going on between her arms, legs, chest, and face, which is all kind of hard and distracting to look at. And absent knowing this look is paying homage to a Pokemon, it's kind of confusing, especially with all the purple. And I feel like some of the ways it gathers in the waist area, like when she turns around, were a tad awkward. But again, I did like the vision for what she was going for here. It just didn't meet the finish line. So it's gonna be a for me. But in the challenge, Aja collected all 8 of her gym badges, then hit the Elite 4 and 1. And this maybe wasn't super surprising that she did so well here because she is such an incredible performer and does bring, I think, a unique set of skills, I guess, at least in this cast, considering she's written and recorded a lot of her own music. And I absolutely love how she starts off her verse and the entire track singing, "You know they had to put the best queen first. I put these girls in a hearse" on the first verse, which I think goes on to rhyme with ease while putting on a really great physicality to her punk rock performance in the video. The song is about being a winner chicken dinner, and I love that Aja wasn't afraid to boast about her accolades or declare in a kind of, yes, cliche fashion that she was going home with the crowd. This performance was hot, and y'all better give Aja her 10/10/10s across the board because she really ate that.
Oh, hey Bussy Queen. You've really been eating lately too. What's your secret? I'm so glad you asked. The answer? Cook Unity. Cook Unity is a chef-to-consumer meal service that delivers ready-to-eat, fresh, never frozen food directly to your doorstep. And the gag of the season is they've got over 300 meals to choose from with options for every dietary preference. Vegan, keto, paleo, gay, queer, lesbian, you name it. And some of my favorites in my recent delivery include Chef Andre Mendez's lemon rosemary chicken, Chef Chase Evans' Creole crawfish etouffee, but listen up because this last one's my all-time favorite. Chef Mirabelle Rose chicken enchiladas with tomatillo sauce. Seriously, I've been adding these to my order every single week and I can't get enough. And here's the tea. Cook Unity is not just good for a meal service, Cook Unity is as good as restaurants or better because there's a real chef behind every meal. Plus, Cook Unity meals actually fill me up with adult-sized portions and I can conveniently locate all the macronutrient information right there on the label of the box. With Cook Unity, I can have anything from green curry to barbecue chicken and mac and cheese ready in just 2 to 3 minutes at like half the cost of eating out. So here's what I want you to do, because I know you're hungry after seeing all that good food. Click the link in the description of my video and check out Cook Unity's website, because when you do, you're gonna get 50% off your first order. That's right, when you use my link below or use code BussyQueen50 at checkout, you're gonna get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity's fresh, never frozen meals delivered right to your doorstep. Thanks Cook Unity for sponsoring today's video. Aja also found herself in a little bit of drama this episode when she got into it with Irene in the workroom. Aja first overhears Bosco talking about how she says she's going to be talking shit in the confessionals, and in response, Aja starts to address the room, saying if y'all start talking in confessionals, but she is then cut off by Irene, who says to Aja that it's not the right time to be making a moment because her makeup wasn't looking right. Aja then pauses and Irene continues with the read, talking about how it was funny to see her trying to come up with a comeback and seeing a loading sign over her head. But Aja then responds that she doesn't need to think of a comeback because Irene went home first on her season. And these two then get into it a bit about looking this way or that way with Photoshop or not, and on Instagram, yada yada. But thankfully these two do have a happy ending later in Untucked, where they of course find themselves in the top and I think have a little moment where real recognizes real. But with the way Bosco casually said in a confessional that Irene loves to put her foot in her mouth, I wouldn't be surprised if this feud got reignited later. And speaking of the Demon Queen herself, next up, it's Bosco, who in her entrance look literally had me choke gag bound, chained, and drooling. This look is insane. Like, it's absolutely crazy that she would have the audacity to come back to the main stage looking like this in this economy. Because like, we're out here with a crash stock market, but Bosco is over here collecting dividends on her investments on her drag, that is. I love that this look feels very Grace Jones with the hair and shoulders, and how that tie is going all the way down there. Bosco stood on business. This look is hot. And over on the runway, the slayage, of course, continues. She says she's giving us Frankenstein Mugler Moschino coin purse down. And y'all, this runway is bonkers. Like, absolutely insane, nutso, crazy. I have never really seen anything quite like it. It's so pretty, yet so hard and masculine. And I love the insane details of her, including zipper sliders like sewn into her skin on the shoulders and the neck. And how, did you clock it? There's a literal zipper undoing the beehive of her hair.
That's crazy. This look is kind of giving me like an open flower, Birth of Venus, but you know, make it punk, hardcore, and cool. I feel like it's actually been a while since I've seen something this cool, and I'm definitely gonna give it a hat. And this challenge for Bosco is another walk in the park for her, as she proudly declares that this heavy metal rock video is aggressively in her lane, which, I mean, yeah, obviously, here, look at the material. But what I really liked about what she did in her verse was how she played with her voice, first starting with like a really high falsetto, singing B-O-S-C-O, and how she slid in a little Madonna reference, I think with the Papa, Can You Hear Me, I Have a Confession lyric. And overall, I'm definitely gonna give Bosco a hot in this performance, but I think she wasn't selected as a top 2 because she could have gone even crazier, I think, with those lyrics and tapped into that demon persona even more to take it to the next level. And next up, I have it on good authority that the this is thising and the that is thating. It's DeJa Skye. But her entrance look gives us a really cute little reintroduction to who she is and what she looks like. Probably telling us in her confessionals that she's 60 pounds lighter, but still tastes the same flavor. The stars coming out the vest are really cute, the mug is beat, the silhouette is right, and DeJa looks good. This entrance was hot. But for the main runway category, what DeJa brought for this Slits and runway didn't make any sense to me. And let me first say, like, she does look pretty. She looks good. This is good drag. Like, I really like the presentation of the fantasy she's giving. I just don't know why this was the fantasy she chose for this runway category, because it's like too proper and not sexy enough. And this was all made even more confusing by the fact that she's talking about showing off her body so much in this episode and how she's proud to do that now, especially with her legs, but then she spends this runway hiding it. Go figure. So because of the what I would consider off-brief runway here, I'm gonna give this a the rot is rotting. The runway is not runwaying and the rot is rotting. But is the challenge challenging? Let's find out. So DeJa starts this off a little slow for me. She's saying, it's DeJa Skye, it's deja vu, because I'm bringing this body back to you. See, again, I told y'all, talking about the body. But where is the body? Hiding it in a green Renaissance dress. Anyways, in her verse, she then goes on to hit some of the Drag Race cliches about her mug being beat, which it is, and being on 100 all the time. And this part was kind of boring to me, but she did finish really strong with a reference to her season 14 Snatch game that she did win as Lil Jon, singing, "You can call me Lil Jon the way I man this grill." Yeah! I'm not saying she should have done her whole verse as Lil Jon, but that could have been fun, right? As is, I'm gonna leave this with a warming And next up, looking like $1,000,000, it's Olivia Lux, who in her entrance is giving me Elsa, Frozen World, Fantasy Cinderella Princess tease, maybe with this cold chrome color palette trying to cast off the shadow of niceness that was plaguing her from her original season. Either way though, she looks great here. This is a great reintroduction to who she is. Beautiful, stunning, no notes. This look is hot. But what really got me from Olivia this episode was what she did on the runway. She comes out in a Lil' Kim 1999 MTV VMAs red carpet award show look, and it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And there's a great write-up on the impact of the original look Lil' Kim wore on this red carpet over on like Pop Sugar by an author named Kerri Colby that I've linked below and I would recommend you read, but I just wanted to highlight how important this look was, I think, in shaping how a female rapper could present themselves, and how apparently, according to this article, Missy Elliott actually inspired the idea for the look. Olivia, again, gorgeous, beautiful, perfect, amazing in this look. The garment is truly next level, and I love how she managed to make it sexy and slitty and all of that while still keeping this very like soft elegance she has to her character in the look. And that detail of that nude illusion fabric coming all the way up from the slit into the chest was just really breathtaking. Olivia and her team did this look right, and it's hot. In the challenge, Miss Olivia starts off her performance by being a little bad, a little naughty, and knocking over some cymbals that, you know, weren't really being played anyways, so I'm glad somebody did that. And she starts off her verse singing, "Divalicious Supreme. This electric smile had got you shook up, scared, I can see." I think her voice sounded really good on the track. She's a beautiful vocalist, as we already know, but it didn't really stand out in like a hardcore rock and roll sense where a lot of the other girls are tapping into these rock and roll lyrical roots, like with falsettos, screaming voices, or really grand operatic sounds, maybe more like Irene gave us on her track. And the funny thing is, Olivia does talk about in this episode about how she's wanting to shake the nice girl persona because she feels like it held her back in her original season, but I feel like she's still got a few notches to let loose on the crazy belt before we totally get there. This performance though, I think, was good enough to be a safe hot. And while Olivia doesn't find herself in any drama this episode, she does have a really interesting conversation with Aja where they're scheming, they're plotting, and they're trying to figure out how to literally take over the competition because they're coming in with an alliance already formed from their Mew Mew house. And after talking about what they're going to be doing with their points, Olivia even says to Aja, we'll be able to hopefully control the whole game and solidify ourselves in the semifinals. His mom is out here playing 4D chess. And next up, she's collecting the evidence for her drag thesis all the way from planet... I actually don't know canonically what planet she's from, but it's Irene the Alien. When her entrance look is looking absolutely spooky, crazy, dark, mysterious, and beautifully purple. I love these like wings or like floral pieces, I'm not really sure what to call them, that are making up this giant collar. And I love the really beautiful details on this look, like the beads coming down from the bra. This look was a little awkward when she was like doing the tearaway reveals for it and some of the side shots, but I think overall this is a very hot look. And over on the Slits runway, she's green. And I hate to directly compare the queens, but her green was a lot more successful tonight than the purple presented from Aja, because you can see here Irene has managed to shade match, not perfectly, but a lot better than Aja did. Why Irene was green with the elf ears tonight, though, I'm not really sure. Like, I don't totally see the vision on how the green skin color connected to the like Vegas showgirls kind of look. And it was also really hard for me to take this look seriously after Ice Spice made the joke about her looking like Shrek. The costume is really pretty, it's opulent, it's grand, and I guess this is maybe what a slitty showgirl would wear on an alien planet somewhere in an alien Vegas. Thank God she made it out of the swamp and onto the stage. This look is hot. And Irene's two looks weren't my favorite of the cast so far in this episode, but what she did in the challenge was absolutely insane. She starts off singing, behind the pointed ears and clown white concealer lies a winner and it's time to release her. But what really got me was when she started opening up her voice and said, this time I'll make sure you remember my name. It's Irene! Ending with from Valhalla to the Hall of Fame. This lyrically was, I think, the best verse. She told us who she was, where she's going, and what she's gonna do. And she avoided the cliche drag race verse pitfalls that several of our other all-stars fell into tonight. Plus, again, she just sounded amazing on this track. This was hot. And last but certainly not least, she's rising from the ashes. It's Phoenix, who comes into this episode immediately letting us know that she is not playing around with her looks. This gown is absolutely gorgeous. It's like gray on the bottom to symbolize ashes, and then of course red and yellow on the top to give that Phoenix fiery rebirth. This look is pageant perfection, and I love how it ties into her name and the symbolism of Phoenix, and also how it ties into her drag journey, having come back now to Drag Race 15 years later. This look is hot. I will say though, I was a little nervous when I first saw her come out in this because her promo look was orange, and then this is orange and red, and I'm like, oh my god, are we gonna have another Tina Burner situation where she only uses like 3 colors? I didn't know, but thankfully Phoenix's runway came around and we saw that she's gonna be giving us a little bit of versatility here with her purple people eater, G word that I can't say, suit look. And I really love this look because I feel like she really captured the idea of slits and and I also love that this runway was an interactive experience. She came down and didn't have any slits, but she did have zippers. And she hit the end of that runway and she unzipped that gown and created that slit right there for us together. But what was maybe even more exciting was when she opened the top zipper to reveal the top items. I've had a taste and I want more. This look was hot. But what Miss Phoenix did in the challenge tonight wasn't quite as inspiring. Her performance starts off with her crawling under the pit crew's legs, which was actually really fun. And she sings from the fire, from the ash, Phoenix is back, ready for revenge. Which is like a fun, nice lyrical reference to her name and what she's doing in drag. But the rest of her verse just felt really cliche to me. There was those, get out of my way or I'll take you down, this is my time, and no queens are gonna come between me and my crown lyrics. Which were not exactly lyrics we hadn't heard before, and they weren't delivered in a way that felt unique or special to this song. She was kind of just singing, I think, the best she could. But like, even if it didn't sound great, I would have loved to have seen her try a falsetto, try a scream, you know, do something crazy, get a little goofy on them. Compared to the other girls tonight, Phoenix's performance was a and I really hurt for her a little bit when the judging panel was giving her critiques because Ice Spice says to Phoenix, I hear you're a legendary icon, but tonight I don't think I would be able to tell with how shy you were. And this obviously is the opposite, I'm sure, of what she wanted to hear from Ice Spice and the rest tonight. And while I don't totally disagree with Ice here that Phoenix could have been a lot more energetic in her performance, as I said already, I do think it was interesting to hear Ice give that comment to her, considering Ice is known for being very quiet to demure and I don't want to say low energy, but it's kind of low energy. And regarding this little comment from Ice Spice, Phoenix had something to say. The day after the episode aired, she posted to her Instagram story writing this. Also, I appreciate the love from everyone about the Ice Spice comment. I'll comment more until the funny part about this later. But trust me when I say, my 25 years of experience and decades of contributing to my community is what makes me an icon, not 3 minutes on a TV show. That being said, I'm perfectly fine not getting icon validation from someone whose fame has come from one song about and farting. And now let's talk tops and bottoms. So Aja and Irene, who I both think were killers on this track, both in the physical and lyrical departments, were placed in the top this week. And this is a decision from the judges I do totally support. I think maybe if there was one other queen who could have been in the top, it would have been Bosco. And she was acknowledged as like a top 3, but I do think it was right to not have her in the top 2. And so we get a lip sync between Aja and Irene, which was fun because we saw them arguing in the workroom earlier, which now that I'm thinking about it may or may not have just been a setup. But here we are, and they get to lip sync to Thank You the Fart by Ice Spice. Let me first say I think this is a tough type of song to do an entertaining lip sync performance to because there's not really peaks or valleys. It's a rap beat and you do have to know all of the lyrics. Thankfully, it seemed both queens knew the lyrics really well, but Aja absolutely destroyed Irene in this lip sync. And I think the moment Aja clinched the win in this lip sync was, well, first when it started, but then also when she did her little dance and then did that little dance and twirled and then later death dropped onto the stage. Like that was such a fun sequence of dance moves and I'm so happy that Aja brought such a fun, energetic, and tight choreography to this track because it really needed high energy. Irene, on the other hand, yes, knew the lyrics, but looked a little stiff on stage next to Aja, so it is what it is. Both queens, though, do win 2 points for being in the top, and Aja here wins a point for winning the lip sync. The question mark I left this episode with, though, was when, how, where, who, what, and why are these other mysterious 4 MVQ points going to come into play? Because I kind of expected they would happen at the end of the episode, similar to how they did like the plunger and stuff, but it seems they're gonna save them for each next week's episode, I guess as a little bit of a cliffhanger. But honestly, I don't really care when the points are given out. I'm just thankful they're doing this MVQ point system thing instead of like the plunger block, which, let's be honest, was really unsuccessful. And lastly for this premiere, let's talk hottest hots. For the entrance, I'm gonna give it to Bosco. On the runway, I'm gonna give it to Bosco. And in the challenge, I'm gonna go to Irene. I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and this week they've chosen Bosco in the runway and Irene in the challenge. And as a reminder, you too can join my Patreon to vote on hottest hots and watch my reaction to every episode of Drag Race that I review on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen.
And I want to give another huge thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Cook Unity. I was so excited when I started partnering with them a couple months ago because I was already a huge fan of their food, and agreeing to take on these sponsorships was an absolute no-brainer. I love Cook Unity's food, and I know you will too, so make sure to use my link below to get 50% off your first order or use code BussyQueen50 at checkout. And lastly, I want to give an extra special shout out to Rook, who just joined my Patreon at the Hots tier, and Ashton, Felicia, JBR, Matthew Burns, Mika Means, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier at patreon.com. See you later. Love ya. Bye. Oh my god, ice packs. Oh my god, I have no AC where I'm filming right now. I have a prayer up to God, I've got my fingers crossed, and I'm about to go get some ice packs to sit on because I just had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast.